Hello again, YouTube land. So busy. I have been so busy. And you wouldn't think it from looking at the general list of things that I'm obligated to do, and yet, oh god. So, alright. I believe last time I mentioned the trip to Massachusetts and the bat mitzvah, and it had been an interesting month up until that point. Since then, it's still June, barely. And this week, the major event was Sam's birthday, which was this past Tuesday. And he actually took the day off for once for his birthday, which isn't usual for him, and made a whole day of it. You know, because it was his birthday, and I wanted to celebrate it the way he wanted to celebrate his birthday. So we made a couple of stops back home during the day because Rizzo lives here now and he needs to go out for walks. And he has a safe space. We've dedicated a safe space in the living room where a mat and a rug are, and he's allowed to go there. Since he doesn't sleep in his crate, it's easiest if we just have one particular place where he knows if I really have to go, that's where I have to go. And he's actually been really good about it. He'll walk over there once or twice in a while and go near the mat, but he gets that it's that general vicinity, and probably 7 out of 10 times he's actually on the mat. All his business on the mat, which is great. I know eventually he'll have to get used to just not being allowed to go in the house, but he's only 4 months old. You know, we're a ways away from that. Meanwhile, he's laying to my left here between me and the door, trying to subtly hint he wants to go back out. But he just went out 2 hours ago, so no. Today, I guess, is Trans Day of Action, so Sam will be marching in something or other. And then Sunday is Manhattan Pride, and Sam says he doesn't know if he's going yet or not, which is entirely up to him. Structurally, I'm not really physically capable of doing that, and it's not even just a weight issue. It's quite literally a structural issue. I have problems at both ends of my spine. I have knee issues, including arthritis, and I have plantar in both feet. So marching an entire parade is asking a lot. And I did it the first 2 years he and I were dating, A, because I wanted to do it, B, because I'd never done it, and C, because, you know, when you're dating, you do the things the other person likes to do. It's a trade-off. And Sam always did Pride because it was always the week of his birthday. But by the 3rd year, I said to him, look, go have fun with your friends, but I physically am not capable of doing this. I'll meet you afterwards, we'll all hang out, but I can't. I personally am not structurally sound for this kind of activity. So that's what he does now. Sometimes he'll go and do these things with his friends because this kind of social grouping, this kind of activism is very important to him. And it's not that it's unimportant to me, it's just that the things like the marching and, you know, that sort of activism, like I said, I'm not structurally capable. But back to what I was saying about his birthday. We went to a couple of different places. I made super breakfast at home, which isn't really that different from how I normally make breakfast on the weekends. It just was on a weekday, and it was his birthday as well. But the whole weekend started out funny because on Friday I woke up feeling like crap. Oh my god, like crap. So I made time to go to my doctor's office, which took a while because my doctor is the kind of person who will take 2 hours for one appointment to make sure that she's covered everything and that she's answered all your questions. And she actually didn't have anyone else scheduled that day for other reasons, but she was still in the office. So when I called, she told me to come on over. And I like this doctor for several reasons, not the least of which is she said to me, you know yourself better than anybody, which is true of most patients. But most patients don't respect that, and they don't appreciate that that's the truth. And they jump to self-diagnosis, and they jump to hypochondria. She said, you and I have been working together over a year now on helping you get everything together. And I gotta tell you, you're not the type to call for no reason. I only hear from you every 2 or 3 months, maybe. And when you call, it's usually the same thing, recurrent sinusitis. And more often than not, that's exactly what it is. And then she kind of stopped and went, no, that is what it is. You know yourself well enough that, if you call me and say, I know I have sinusitis again, I know you're right. Because you know yourself. You know the symptomology. You've been through it enough. Most of the time you and I talk, you know exactly what you're talking about, and I know you don't have any medical training, which means you're very aware and intelligent. So yeah, I kind of like her because she kind of flatters me, but it's not that it comes off as flattering, it's that it comes off as honest. She appreciates that I'm self-aware. She appreciates that I learn and understand things, and she appreciates that I try to speak in an intellectual way, even in fields where I'm obviously out of my depth, because I don't have a medical degree, I don't have a law degree, I don't have this, that, or the other special piece of paper, So she wrote me the antibiotics, and I'm still taking them. Today is the first week completed, and I have to take them for 2 weeks, which sucks, but that's how I started my weekend. And then Saturdays have now become a thing since Massachusetts, because Sam and I had it out at one point since then, where I had to just stop and explain to him, look, you're missing several salient points here, not the least of which is, I don't hate all surprises. I hate surprises that are negative, that are detrimental, that produce unexpected hindrances to me doing what I need to do, or want to do, or have to do, I'm not going to be upset if you surprise me with, I'm taking you out for dinner. I'm not going to be upset if you surprise me with, I've decided to take us away for the weekend. These are not the kind of things that are going to rock my world fundamentally in a bad way. Therefore, they're acceptable. So he's decided now that Saturday is going to be his part of the weekend where he does some sort of planning or scheduling or something and takes me out for a secret dinner somewhere or a special meal, what have you. And Saturday kind of went a little bit to crap because the place he had thought to suggest was fine, but the questions he was asking me were somewhat convoluted and confused. And it's not that I'm unused to him asking questions like that, but when you ask me questions like that, I have a problem with answering in anything other than the most direct way to the exact question that you ask me. I don't root around for what I think the person I know really well actually means. I just answer what's literally asked of me, and that becomes compounded when I'm sick. And day 2 and 3 of suffering sinusitis, even when I'm on the proper medication to treat it, are always the shittiest of days for me, because that's when the real full symptomology hits head first into the brick wall. So I was diagnosed Friday when I started feeling crappy. Started the medication Friday afternoon because I went first thing in the morning. Saturday I still felt like shit. So we ended up going to another nearby place over in Astoria, and it was fine. It was a good, brunchy, breakfasty type timing food. And then went about our day. And then Sunday we had brunch with Sam's parents, which we were supposed to do Father's Day weekend, but his mom wasn't feeling well and had to cancel, which is fine. I'm glad she's feeling better. But again, there was a little confusion because I picked a place for us to have brunch, and I was under the impression that we were going to be paying because I had said we wanted to take them out for Father's Day, just like we had taken them out for Mother's Day. That's just how I've always done things. You treat your parents to something on that day. Which admittedly in some households can get pretty expensive because if you have two of one type of parent, you're treating two people on a particular holiday. But that's how I always do things, So I assumed we were paying, and then come to find out, Sam's dad assumed they were paying because they wanted to take us out a bit early for Sam's birthday as a treat. And I was like, oh, whatever. I don't want to fight about this. So that was Sunday. Monday was a relatively normal day. Just up, out the door, off to work, me doing my thing, whatever. Tuesday, as I said, was the special breakfast, and then we went to several stores I know Sam wanted to go to, places I don't usually like to shop. And we went to Ottomanelli's burger place in Woodside for lunch, which was interesting. You'd have to check my Yelp page for all places I've eaten. And then that night, I decided to take him to the Bohemian Beer Garden back in Astoria. We've eaten in Astoria a lot the last few weekends. I got to admit, there's a lot of good places in Astoria. Obviously, it depends on your tastes and your preferences and whether or not you have any specific dietary requirements, but I've seen a lot of really respectable places in Astoria, personally. So, we went, and my only thing about that is that I had apparently really kind of overfed him already that day, and there was more food waiting at home than I had made him. So, he wasn't totally able to finish what we had while we were there, but it was an interesting experience. It was what I would consider a type of beer garden. It was a big outdoor lot with a lot of picnic seating and a grill to one side, and there was an area for waiter service, but it wasn't clearly delineated, so we just ended up going to the grill and sitting ourselves, and it was a Tuesday, so it was like nobody. There was probably like 40 or 50 people, but you gotta understand, in a beer garden, 40 or 50 people is really not a drop in the bucket. This place is meant to seat 600-700 people. So, it was good. My concern mainly was the price for the portion size. Not addressing the quality, strictly the portion size. But it was what it was. And he was happy we went to new places and stuff. And he got his birthday present. And I made him a carrot cake from scratch. With scratch-made cream cheese frosting. Half of which is still in the fridge, obviously, because it's just the two of us. But, excuse me. I was really surprised at how easy I found making the carrot cake. Although, to be fair, grating carrots with a box grater, fucking nightmare. Honest to God, a fucking nightmare. I have a food processor, a little one. A little Cuisinart, like 2-cup food processor that my grandmother got me when she got me my quality 5-quart stand mixer. And it works. For just the two of us, certainly it works. But if it were up to me, I'd get like a 5 or 6 cup Cuisinart KitchenAid, the kind that has the little work bowl insert and also has the adjustable setting for, because now the ones that they have, you put stuff into the chute on top, which mine doesn't have a chute. I have to stop, open it, drizzle in oil, close it, run it again. The kind with the chute, the big one, the 5-6 cup one, it has one of the spinning blades on top above the work bowl. So you have the option of doing like grating and slicing and, if it were up to me, I'd get one of those. I know they're not cheap. I know they're not. But if it were up to me, I would get one. Because if I'm going to do more cooking at home, which I have been, I really want to have quality tools. I don't want a professional kitchen. I can't physically be on my feet to work in a professional kitchen. But I love to cook, and I love to feed my family. And I love to eat healthier, and cooking at home is the quickest way I know to make sure that first step towards healthier eating happens. So, that's the end of this post. It's long enough. There will be other posts, possibly today. I haven't decided yet. But, happy Pride. Happy birthday to Sam. And, hopefully everyone's having a less problematic month than I've apparently been having. And I'm off to go get a crap load of cleaning done if possible.